Today on Create, we're ready to welcome guests. It's prime time we took care of the other side of our monorail bridge and finally connected to the broader server train network. Which is why today I'll be building a beautiful train station to welcome any new arrivals we can get. But first we'll have to take care of the other side of our monorail bridge from the last episode. So I hope you're ready to watch me build another elevator during an awesome time lapse. Yeah, I was building and then I had this really cool idea to make these little bars that would block your passage in case the carriage wouldn't be here. So, here's the logic. As soon as this carriage, like the train, leaves the station, I want this bar here to rotate 90 degrees to prevent you from falling off of the cliff. One issue I keep running into in this series is that I live on an island, and if I want to build a train or a train station, there's not really a reason to do that, because I have nowhere to go. But here on the server, I actually do already have a railway setup. Well, we actually do have a railway setup that leads to other people's bases and also spawn. So having our train station for other people to arrive to my base would be really cool. And yes, Liara also still lives on the island. She's still alive, thank you for asking. I just keep saying I instead of we because, well, Lee only really streams nowadays, she doesn't really make YouTube videos. Also, before we begin, I want to shout out something that I did not shout out last week. When I click this button and I move on the elevator downstairs or upstairs, as soon as it reaches the actual floor, check this out. Did you hear that? I actually added a ding note block that reacts to the elevator arriving at the floor. That is a detail that's present both in this elevator and that one down there, so I'm actually quite proud of myself for adding that one. It's just one of those things that makes everything feel that much more alive. And we're gonna basically be focusing on a lot of that with today's build. I've actually spent around 8 hours researching this topic and then 20 hours sketching it in creative. Nah, just kidding, I looked up train station on Google Images and then looked at the results. I also looked up Lego train station on Google, which frankly is delightful, you should totally do that. And of course, we ended up with sort of a list of things that I really wanna do. First on that list is this weird clock little tower that people put on vintage train stations all over the place. Now, it makes perfect sense that there would be a clock at a train station, given that, you know, a train schedule exists, so you would want to know what time it is to know where your train is. Speaking of, we absolutely have to have one of those flippy letter screens. What are even called in this mode? Okay, display boards. I actually was gonna call it a tableau. You know, kind of French and fancy. And also it's literally just the Russian word for it. So we want a tableau displaying all our train schedule, which this mod can actually do for us kind of automatically with the use of the display link. And then obviously we will want the train station itself, which I will separate in two major parts. First one is gonna be the outdoors part of the train station, where you actually board the train, and the second and kinda more important one will be the waiting hall, which you gonna be waiting for flipping ever, because we as a server decided to not have trains just perusing back and forth on the server, as that actually does kinda strain the hardware. So instead of boarding a train that's already running on a schedule, what we do here on this server is just kinda build our own one and just drive it on rails. Did it lead to many accidents? Yes. Point being, we'll have a waiting hall, which is also the area indoors where you can buy tickets. And maybe snacks. It helps to buy snacks for the road. Now, one thing that this entire thing got me thinking about is whether or not you will need a visa to attend the island, and I figured that, nah, you know what, I'll just have an open border policy with the rest of the server, but what I will demand is that people have a pass onto this one tram. So you can go legally onto the island without a visa, but you will have to swim there unless you have a tram pass. So with all that out of the way, we do need to get building the shape of our train station itself, which is why I'm moving towards our drill, because that's where all my building materials are. Ah, that's the stuff. All the tough and all the deep slate. So here's what we're looking at. This is the split, and please ignore the hole in the, you know, in the everything where the floor is going to be eventually. I promise you, that will all be covered up by the aforementioned floor. Speaking of, I am thinking that all the outside kind of a concrete area I will be decorating using tuff. And it will be a full one step, full one block lower than the general indoorness area. That's because this is kind of outdoors concrete, you know, it's unloved, uncared for, cracked, brittle. Meanwhile, all the indoor concrete is just gonna be tiled floor, either in the stone family or straight up just on the side. I'm pretty sure I can get away with using some, but that does mean that I need to get rid of all of this. These are all really the blocks that are only in mods ever, but they kinda look so cool, and you really do wish that they were instead also in vanilla. They do have connected textures, meaning that they form this really nice bevel around them. So breaking them down with maybe polished cut on the side like this, and creating a kind of a pattern would be basically child's play. And the only thing that makes me want to rip my hair out is that polished andesite itself doesn't have the lightish blue tint that the polished cut andesite has within this mod. This is so light blue. This is so messed up looking. Basically, I'm gonna try and put together some sort of a pattern for the floors, but also nobody gonna actually recognize this pattern anyway. Gamers don't look down. And actually this is helpful because this elevator is an even amount of blocks apart. And as a result, this area has to also be an even amount of blocks apart. So we can just use that 2x2 pattern like this and just keep using it, honestly. This also means we can't actually use the Wand of Symmetry to half the progress of this build. That kinda sucks. I miss using this thing. What do you care? It's gonna be a time lapse or something anyway. So here we have all the nice styling on the inside of the train station, and here we have much less nice styling on the outside. Which, yeah, if you're wondering what happened here, the weather. My lore is just that it got really weathered over the span of the past few years, as the train station's been used to, you know, by passengers boarding and unboarding, all that kind of stuff. Maybe I just don't go to nice towns, but in my experience, it just usually is kind of in disrepair. I should go to nicer towns. So here's my approximate plan of making this a nicer train station. And are we gonna be using diorite for this? Yes, we're gonna be using diorite. Let's heckin' go. First and foremost, obviously we'll have a sitting area on the inside in the waiting hall, and we'll have a sitting area on the outside, which is a few benches for people kind of like already awaiting their train's arrival. But also we need to separate out probably kind of this area for a actual cafeteria. This is where people waiting for their trains will get some drinks, probably, is my plan. Because this part of the train station I want to dedicate to the ticket booths. It lines up nicely with where I don't want people to be able to see all the cogs, you know, of the elevator. So this is perfect for our purposes. I think we'll also have an extra entrance here at the beginning of the cafeteria, and naturally the downstairs is absolutely not lit up. Good job, Zloy. And another entrance will have to be here at the elevator, so that people can basically step out of the elevator, and if they already got a ticket, they just immediately run off and jump onto the train. Where are the toilets? Good question. I am also wondering that right now. This actually creates a beautiful lore that to actually go to a bathroom, you have to exit the island, go over the monorail, take an elevator up and then down from the monorail, and then go into the train station's toilet. That makes perfect sense. There is not a single toilet that I've built on the actual island, so this has to be the way. Just pee in the ocean, it's fine. So I got 5 blocks separating these, and that also luckily lines up perfectly with the corners of every other square. So I'm just going to do this, and look at that. That's actually perfect. This corner is directly here. So, boop. Our elevator is perfectly incorporated. So approximately this is the floor plan for what we're trying to build. And this is where you go like, wait a minute, Zloy, don't you plan all this stuff in creative first? And the answer is, guys, I freehanded a castle once. I'll do fine, I promise. I should not be bragging about freehanding a castle now that I think about it. It's a very stupid thing to do. We're doing it live, screw it. And speaking of doing it live, here's a cool question. What are we going for with the entire palette here? Because, we have choices. Now, the thing about the layered diorite is that it doesn't even go with regular diorite. And the thing about the regular diorite is that it can be absolutely put into regular polished diorite. And then also made into polished diorite bricks, polished diorite chiseled bricks, and pillars and all that kind of stuff. Now, the pillars themselves are kind of a little bit too ancient Greek for my liking, but I do like the whiteness of this kind of a area, and I do enjoy the high contrast with the black of the deep slate. So that is definitely something I want to play with. Obviously we want windows as well, and it is super nice. It just looks really nice to me. The little detail of just how all this looks against this nice yellow goldish of brass. Yeah, I just said that I don't like the Greekness of it, but I guess I do like the Greekness of it. This is kind of cool. So out of all these materials, I really do think that the only one that we won't be using for the texturing, well, okay, the only two, is the regular diorite and smooth quartz blocks. They are nice, but I do feel like they give off a little bit too warm of a glow. Also, after building 2 of these towers, I'm kind of sick of them. Now here's another thing. Does this one particular block go with the brass bricks? I mean, this is brass casing, it's supposed to be the same color. And the trick about this is that we're not gonna be using the brass casing, we will be using the brass glass casing. This is basically something I already did with the train casings and whatnot, but this one is a little bit nicer for me, who has to make the casings. I have way more brass casings than I do have train ones, and look at that, the same trick as with the train ones works with these ones. We can make this middle one clear and have the nice separated window that just kind of looks more vertical and just nicer with how wide this area is. Also, there's flower boxes that you can craft in the every compat mod, so I absolutely do want these to put down here. I think it's gonna look really nice. Except in the cafeteria, where I actually want the glass windows to be really big and really nice, as the clients will be sitting on the inside kind of like looking out. It's just a nicer view, you know, to be able to see things. This is nice, this is cozy, this gives me the exact right vibe of what I'm trying to accomplish. The spruce flower boxes though, nah, not so much. I think we'll be getting rid of them. Hey, can I use them as like visual support structures actually? Instead of, oh, what the heck, how did I place it that way? How do, oh, I can put them on the ground. You know what, this is actually pretty cool. Here's another cool thing. I wanted the spruce benches. Specifically for spruce ones, I don't know why, but I am really getting the vibe that these would be the most fitting. And they actually connect. So we can have 3 wide benches like this. Probably not hovering over a crack actively. I don't have any tuff, so I'm just gonna put a polished underside in here. Don't tell anybody. And now this actually looks lived in. This is actually really neat. The trick of course is that we have actual stools and chairs and that kind of stuff to sit on. But outside, on the outside area, this looks so much nicer. Still gonna use a bunch of composters for the trash bins though. They're fun because you can kind of fill them in. Actually, this makes me think about putting up a no smoking sign, but I think I'd be actually more impressed if somebody managed to smoke on here, given that this is Minecraft. Though there is a apple cider in this mod pack, so I guess alcoholism is okay. Anyway, the actual building I want to be even taller than this side. I wanted to rise a little bit over this little lip. Maybe put tiny windows in there for extra light. And then that will create a nice elevated ceiling feeling for the hole down here. Oh, and holy crap, you can actually put leaves, well, obviously over the composters. This is now a flower box, but you can put leaves into the spruce flower boxes. This changes everything. They look so much more full now. Anyway, I really like how this come out, and now I'm gonna come out. Actually, I'm gonna come in. Yeah, this needs to be done. Oh my god. I installed some arches with the support beams and everything, so it looks a little bit more structural, but here's something that like absolutely driven me up the wall. Turns out that in the entire mod, only benches really connect together. So I don't think we can even combine the sofas together to make like a couch of sorts. We will have to put together benches if we want something that connects. Or, here's an idea. We can use the create seats, so I can have a waiting hall with actual zombies chilling, waiting for the train, which once again will never come because there are no trains running on a schedule. Alright, get in if you... Oh, okay, fine, leave then. Actually, here's a thought. Can I get an Enderman into a seat? Rapidly regretting making the doors 3 blocks tall right about now, actually. Ah! Hey, there he is. Yeah. Anyway, your name is Pebin now. Have fun not despawning. And he placed the block he was holding. Oh, nope, he picked it up. You know what? I'm just gonna let him fidget with it, I guess. Well, frankly, this is the part of the video where I really need to level with you and tell you. I had very little faith in this project when it began, but looking at this right now, I am all down. This looks delightful. This is like exactly what I imagined it to be. And the worst part of it that I should have imagined more than one wall. No, mirroring strikes again. And the fun bit is that I apparently already recombobulated the center of the thing, so it's now on an odd number of blocks. And I could have been using my mirror stuff the entire time, but I wasn't. I wonder if I can just make this into a schematic actually, now that I think about it. That would be so easy. Oh my god, I'm gonna flip. Table for 1, so please apply this to that. And we definitely can flip it in the settings, so yeah, let's just give it a go. Get mirrored. Oh god, that's the wrong mirror. Okay, I need to mirror from this side. That puts the little roundy bit that I put over the giant thing onto the exact level where we need it. And now we just kind of have to move this bit of the schematic to this bit here, so please work. Okay, control scroll to... Oh my god, this is horrifying. This is so scary. But it works though. And now can I just leave it like that, honestly? I so don't feel like actually building it. Nah, we'll be fine. Okay, this goes here. Let's get a written book with a list of all materials that we need. 198 polished cut granite slabs. It's not that much actually, but it still sounds really impressive. Okay, here we go. I want to see this. What a miracle of engineering. And also I'm really hoping that I actually aligned it right, because fixing this would be harder than just building it on my own. And then the schematic cannon watched me build the rest of the building. That's how we make it fair, honestly. Not gonna lie, this is coming out miles above what I expected. Especially this side. This side is just delightful. I love the idea of somebody sitting in that cafe, just kind of looking out the window, just chilling, waiting maybe for the train. Which sounds great, as long as you don't actually realize that there is nothing in the cafe currently being sold. In the meantime, I also have installed the rest of the things that I talked about, except for that clock thing that I was talking about. Actually, let's check that out. Alright, so create by default has a cuckoo clock in it, which obviously we gotta have that. But also, I'm pretty sure that there is this, the clock block. I'm 12. As far as supplementaries is concerned, yeah, it is, I'm pretty sure, actually showing accurate time, but accurate to the daytime, not accurate to my PC time, I'm pretty sure, because it is not 9 in the morning where I live. I live in a state of eternal darkness. There is never morning in here. So we're gonna stick a couple of those around here-ish and put one more outside. Yes, it's much cheaper and kinda cheesy of me than making the actual clocks using the clockwork bearings. Listen, not everything has to be create, okay? Sometimes you can just create a different thing. And here on the platform, we absolutely are gonna put another one down, except I'm not sure where, because this is actually kind of crammed. Let's cram one in here, it's fine. Also, of course, I have finished the waiting hall. And look at that! we actually are getting some customers over here. Yeah, it is kind of weird to me that of all the possible mobs to suddenly start populating my waiting hall for the train station, it's the Endermen that are doing it. Because of all people, you'd think that Endermen can just teleport wherever they're trying to get to. These guys can't teleport at all though, they are in the seats and they are stuck. They really don't want to lose their spot, I suppose. Oh, and also of course, we do have the toilets now. I've not decorated the toilets, I've not decorated this toilet either. I am honestly very tired of this project. I've been working on it non-stop for so long. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of a cheat here and there we go. I don't think we have a toilet bowl in this mod anyway, so this is best I can do on the budget that I've been provided. And of course, I did promise you the display boards with the train schedule. And naturally, there is no schedule. This display board is actually connected to a display link down here. And the display link is transmitting the train station, you know, information from the IRL Island train station, which is technically here. But because there's not a single train running on a schedule on this entire rail spanning the entire server, we just don't have any info to display, and it's kind of sad because they are actually really cool. I do wish we had a train on here somewhere arriving eventually, or, you know, standing on the station right now. That would also be cool. Which is why I think that's what we're gonna do this next episode. That's right! 50 flipping episodes later, and also 2 technically trains after we're finally getting the first train of the My Create series. Let's go! This is so stupid, but I promise this one will actually be a train and not just, you know, a glorified elevator or a boat for that matter. Leave in the comments what you think it should be instead of a train, actually. Overall, I have to admit, this took a while and it has been an absolute delight on work on. I am so happy with how this episode went. We've got our new elevator that's literally better than the first one. We got this whole entire train station built, and this honestly put me in the mood for building an actual train. So I think that's what we're gonna get to in the next episode.